Hello guys. Today I will be discussing about rest assured, and there are few topics um, which I will be covering today. Um, rest assured is ideally a simple jar file, um, and which we can import through to our typical Cucumber framework. This is where I see rest assured. So just to start with, we have to have a basic Cucumber style framework in Maven, and I'm using IntelliJ here. So it's a typical style of Cucumber writing feature files and scenarios. So the setup is very simple. I don't want to start from zero setup, but you should. I'm assuming that you have a basic setup of Cucumber, and the thing that we have to add is we can add this dependencies of rest assured and JSON path for our serialization. And also I use Jackson and JSON simple, so they're used at different places. um, so right now, just to uh, give an introduction, that rest assured is an automated tool to trigger requests and get responses and test the responses. So the same thing that we can do using Postman. So this is Postman. So ideally, arguably, that we can do the test. We do the manual testing in SOAP UI or Postman. We can do a kind of linked automated tests, but that's not purely automated because we can't do a lot of programming and we can't customize a lot of things. So that's the reason why I can say that this is an automated manual tool. So right now, today I will be showing two examples. One is a get request, which is already automated, and the second one is I will try to implement a new post request and see what kind of code that I will be adding. So this is a get request, which is this is some sample application that I have. So this API, it will give different locations of India which are there in database. So we got some different locations here. So yeah, this is a JSON response get request, and we got one important component here called MSG, which actually gives the actual response. So today what I want to test is I want to test that whether I'm getting all these responses properly for whenever I trigger this particular endpoint. So yeah, this is the endpoint. If you can see that I'm just doing it again. So it's going and coming back with the response, and in the response I can assert a lot of things, but right now I want to just make sure that I get these four parameters in this message, and I should make sure that I got a success message. Okay, so coming to my Cucumber, so what I did is I created a basic step definitions. So I mean, uh, they're like reusable code. We can use the same steps everywhere. So ideally, I don't need to do a lot of uh, application specific changes. So this is kind of way that we can use for any kind of get request. Um, so I made it very generic. So yeah, so from a QA point of view and testing point of view, what I want to do is I want to um, make sure that the APIs are running here, and I perform a get request. So this is nothing but just to make sure that the endpoint is looking good. So I have a code to check that the endpoint is live. And the second step is where I trigger a specific endpoint, and then I perform the request, and then I check that the actual response code is 200, and I check that the JSON response should have these parameters in the body. So you can see that I mean it's it's like a reusable kind of steps. So you can change this into your endpoint and put a status request, and here you can see that I'm filtering my specific node in the response. So if you can see that I don't want to check everything, I can filter through a specific node, and I can check that all the values are coming back. So yeah, some look wise, and from QA point of view, it is easy. I can add more scenarios based on this. I can add more endpoints. However, we can reuse this, but the underneath code is what I want to show here, which is which is the actual library of rest assured. So I will go through each and every step definition and show the code, and I will highlight the areas where the rest assured is easy. We're using the rest assured. So yeah, if we can go into this line, so what I'm doing is I am setting a class variable URL, and see that this is the first request. I don't want to do anything. I just want to make sure that the endpoint is live. So I'm not testing anything here, just to make sure that I get a 200 response if I try to hit the URL. So if the URL is not live, then the step will fail at this point. So you can see that the code is that. So this is what the rest assured is about. You can see that this is very beautifully given APIs. Sorry for that. So yeah, so these are all the rest assured methods, static methods. So what it have is you can see that I can simply hit the endpoint and then get the response and check that the response code is 200 using my JUnit sessions. So these three are the important static methods from rest assured. So you can see that they're all static here. So it's it's very convenient way that we can just say that given, and the actual gist of this rest assured is that given is nothing but setting up your whole request, which includes headers, body parameters, and query parameters and cookies, whatever it is. So we can given is more of that kind of stuff where we can add a lot of stuff, and then when is the actual request, and then we can use even then as well to check there and there itself how it works. But right now I'm not using then, I'm just reading the data through response object and then try to do whatever I want. So you can see that see if I want to given, so this is very important. So you can, for that particular given, you can actually set the content type, and you can set the body parameters. It is not required at this point because we are using get here, and we can put the authentication, we can put the configuration, we can put the cookies. I'm most interested with headers. Headers is what my favorite. Yeah, I can add headers, and also I can add parameters, the query parameters. Okay, we can add whatever the way that we want. However, I will show you these details in the next examples. So this is very basic to check the response, right? So and the next thing is user performs to get request. So this is what I'm not doing anything here, but I'm just adding the endpoint to the URL, which is nothing big. And this is the place where I do the request. So what I'm doing is simply, for this example, I don't have any query parameters. So if you can see that if the query parameters is null, which is nothing but I'm not adding any parameters. I will go in detail. So I have some examples where the query parameters are being written. So like this, we can take the query parameters from the from the feature file. So maybe in the next example I'll show you that while implementing it. So what I will do is, so this is the thing. So if query parameters are null, then just go and do the same thing which we did and get the response. So what I'm doing is I'm putting the whole response into a static object. So I'm just reading this, so the response holder will actually hold the response. And then what I will do is, the next thing is I'm just reading the response, get response code. So I got a kind of a class which is like a wrapper to get the response codes. So this is nothing but this response. This response is nothing but the actual response object from rest assured. So rest assured have this response as a object, and it have and that is, and this method is nothing but a kind of a get the status code. So I'm just wrapping up with my method, but this is what the actual thing. So the response code is the expected. So expected is nothing but which is coming through the response code here. So this is 200. So it's 200 is going there and accepting that it is 200. And the final bit is, this is the most important thing which I want to check, that not only the response code but the response body have the specific values. So if you see here, you can see that I am filtering through the message. So if you see the code, what I'm doing is, you can see that this is a kind of data table. So this is all key value pairs. So I'm putting that key value pairs in a query, and this is nothing but hash map. And then what I'm doing is, so you can see that I am reading the actual response, the whole response through this. So the two things, this is the actual response holder which is our object. So I'm getting the actual response and reading the values. So reader is nothing but the actual read the values through the object mapper. I'm reading all the values and putting into a response map which is in a map object. Then what I want to do is, this is, if I don't put this, then it will bring whole response which is sorry, the whole response which is this, the whole response, it will bring whole response. But what I'm doing here is, you can see that I'm getting a filter. The filter is nothing but the actual filter coming from the stub definition. I'm getting the filter. So my specific requests response is now focused on that last tag where the message. Then what I'm doing is, actually the query is nothing but the actual so I'm traversing through the whole query is nothing but the actual value coming from the stub definition. So I'm querying through all this and checking that whether, first of all, it contains the key is nothing but the key here. So it's checking whether this key is available. And second thing that I'm doing is, it's very simple, that for that key is the value. So this is, I'm getting a value here. So is the value is also equal, means that is it success location details coming or not. So this, I'm checking each and everything. So that is the way I'm using things. So I think you can see that from rest assured point of view, this particular code base don't have much. It's all about hash maps and assertions, but the response is something which I already been taken long back. Okay, you can see that this is setting response. So response is an object, and it got everything whatever you want. So now let me go and run this feature file. I can run the feature file here directly. Let's see how it works. So now whatever I did manually in Postman is now automated. You can see that is very fast, and you can see that I'm just printing the whole object here. and then everything is the URL is this. So yeah, so that is about a GET request without a query parameters. So that is the very basic. It's not, there's no much complication except reading the response object. So the next thing that I will be doing today is more interesting, which is a call. There is an API call, which is this. You can see that this is an API call which have a body. Yeah, so I'm just want to do a kind of post request here. Okay, so yeah, this is a post request where I want to get the movie details of that location. So you can see that it's a post, so there is a body, and yeah, header is just fine, the default header. So you can see that when I put a post, I'm getting that specific movie details. So you can see that here, even here, I got a kind of success message. So I need to assert that this is coming up properly. So what I will be doing today is I'll just write a new feature file, um, called scenario get movie. Yeah, check the movie details. Given, I think is almost everything is same. You can use this. Okay, this is the endpoint. I'm copying it here, but I will create my own step definition here. Okay, and so post request is a post request, and the post request ideally should have the actual table. Okay, so what I will do is we need to have something like this. So here what I want to do here is I need to create a data table here, so that I want to send the actual body parameters. That's what I want to do here. Okay, so you can see that performs a post request to with the below details. Okay, so this is the post request I want to do, which I will implement it, and then I think remaining things are usable. So the only thing which is different is this success movie details. So the message is different. Make sure that the message is replaced. Cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I think we're good, but only thing is we need to implement this. To implement this, we need to reuse the rest assured library to build the actual body parameter. So this is where we need to use some rest assured skills. That is the whole point. So what I will do is I will go here, and in front of you I will try to implement this. So what I want to do here is this is the actual URL, and then it is data table. Data table. Okay, so now what I want to do is first of all I want to create a kind of object. So this is no query parameter, so I need to create a query parameter using so I need to create a query parameter here, following border parameter. So yeah, so this is something which I will return. So ideally I need to get that into a body object, and then I need to give that. Okay, so you can see that. So first of all, our aim is to create a body object. Okay, and likewise I think we need to have a URL. So the URL is let us copy the URL thing from here. Sorry, yeah, this one. Yes, okay. Yeah, so this is the thing. So we are using a URL here. So what I will do here is yeah, so I will first of all I will make sure that I do this. URL is the actual URL plus this is an like an endpoint, and then this is the way I created a hash map of my body object. Now the thing is we need to build. I think we are very much close. So what we need to do is if we if we can get this back, yeah. So yeah, so what I want to do is this is a kind of a, yeah, this is a post request, isn't it? Okay, so yeah, so this is the two lines which we need to implement here. However, I just want to make sure that I need to make sure that I perform a request. So yeah, I think this step is doing a get. You can see that. So I think that is not usable. So we need to perform the post request. Okay, so let us do this, then create a step definition of that. Okay, so it's very simple here. So what I will do here is these two lines is what very important for us. So what I'm doing here is doing this. That's it. Okay, so you can see that the body, so body is out of the class. So what I will do is I will copy this body into the class variable, because I will only have one body at one time, so not a problem. So what I will do here is, you can see that I'm just putting this dot body, this dot body, and this dot body. So what happens is now things are very simple now. So yeah, this is our body. So the body is this dot body. Okay, so now you can see that this is the most important part. Is given the content type is JSON, body is body, so it takes the actual hash map as your body into it, and then it will convert into JSON and put the value paste. We can give a JSON here, but however the hash map also will be used. So you can see that body can take a lot of things. Let us see that it takes lots. It takes lots. It takes strings, object maps. It takes a lot of arguments. So right now we are using this object. Okay, so yeah, then we put a post and we get the response, and then I think remaining things are cool. We get a response and check the 200 and the movie details. Okay, let me run the both tests starting and see how it goes. Okay, you can see that that's my first scenario, which was there. This is my second scenario. I think there was some problem. Oh, it's a 405. Okay, makes sense. So okay, so it was a 405 for the second one. So okay, which is interesting, which is actually makes sense. Oh, okay, so I think this is wrong. This is wrong. We just copied. This is wrong. This is not the input that we have to give. We have to give the actual body parameters, nothing but this. Sorry there. So what I will do is this. Movie ID is equal to 3. We don't need location details here. These are the actual body parameters, and name value pair. Okay, and location ID equal to 5. Okay, so here let me put this to 5. Okay, cool. Okay, so let us run again. Let's see if we can get 200 and the actual status code. Okay, so it was still failing. The response code should be 4 is 405. With the below body parameters. Okay, so let me go and see what is happening here. So this is the actual body. Okay, so where is the step? Perform the post request. Yeah, so we're actually sending the body as a body. Okay, so let me print dot print this dot body. You can see what is actually what is the body. Okay, and yeah, so that's what important here. And the URL is, I think the URL is correct. URL is equal to URL plus this. So let us print this dot URL as well. Okay, so yeah, so I think we are. Let me run this again. Maybe we're sending us a strings or something. Let's see. Okay, so this is our movie ID is equal to this, location ID is equal to this, and this is the detail. This is the URL. So the URL is, oh no, sorry. So actually my mistake. So this is the actual URL. So yeah, sorry. So the URL is wrong. So yeah, we can see that is still triggering the location details. Okay, so yeah, that is what the problem. Okay, so I think it should be API control Z. Okay, it is not the location we are looking for. Movie. Okay, let's go ahead. Cool. Yeah, you can see that the second scenario, which is get movies, check the movie details. You can see that everything is passing, so you can see that everything works. So yeah, that is the thing. If you want to just check that whether how it works, so I'm just checking, making that message expectation is different message, and see how whether how it highlights the issue. Yeah, you can see that it was failed as expected, and it's saying that yes, you're expecting the y, so it is j unit comparison saying that you're expecting a y and there's no y. So yeah, so that is the way it works. Okay, so that's it guys. So I think this is more about rest assured. So it's more of a mix of Java and rest assured. You need to just make use of that, but creating the objects, building the URLs, and configuring everything should be by yourself. You can see that the main key of everything is this. So this is what the actual rest assured is about. Okay, hopefully you guys